When you're out doing DoorDash, you see all kinds of orders, good, bad. A lot of us see bad orders. In today's video, I want to show you things and orders that you need to stay away from and give you reasons why. Because if you do these kind of orders, it's going to be hard to make money in 2024. I'm Pedro, back with the RideShare Guy. Now, every market's different, I know that, okay? But I'm gonna give you some realistic things and break some orders down for you guys. I'm gonna give you guys some screenshots of orders that I see in St. Louis and whether or not I took it and the reasoning behind it. So when I turned my app on today to go out to work for a couple hours, this was my first order. Is that accept or is that a decline for you? Now, some of you would see that and you say, well, it's $1 a mile. Great. Or some of you would see it and say, it's $3. There's no way I'm touching that. There's no way I'm touching a $3 order. Okay, well, what about this $3 order? You're at the McDonald's. It's right there. Are you taking that? It's only a mile. It's $3 a mile. Are you accepting that order? Listen, it'll be really easy for me to come here and say, hey, just don't take $3 orders. Don't take $2 orders, $3, $4. Have a minimum, miles to money. Those strategies could be helpful, but they're not always going to be realistic. Now, obviously, that first order I saw, $3, 3 miles. I'm not taking that. $1 a mile to me in 2024, or even now at the end of 2023, is trash. Not always. We'll get into that in a minute, but that's not. When you're talking of such a low value at $3, that mileage, man, you can't do, if you do too many of those, you're not going to make good money. The cash flow, as I call it, is not there. Now, the second one, and the one I'll show you here again, the 3 for 1 point whatever, some of y'all might take that situationally. Is it 12 p.m., middle of lunch? Never do that. Never under any circumstance, because that's going to take you 15, 20 minutes to complete if there's any kind of wait. But if it's 3 p.m. and you're somebody that likes to have a high AR to keep that dash now or whatever, it's $3 and it's ready and it only takes you 6 minutes, maybe you take that order, right? So you have to always look at the time, the merchant. How long is it going to take you? Time of day, 12 p.m., 3 p.m., different strategy. Highway miles, street miles, different strategy. So now that we talked about $3 orders and I bored you to death, listen, this order here, reverse, I call it reverse miles, or it doesn't make sense. The mileage is more than the offer. I don't ever take those. And the only time that I would suggest maybe you do is if that order is leaving you, like the house icon is where you want to be. Maybe it's going your way home. So you're 7 miles away from your house and they send you an order and you're in a parking lot where there's a whatever and it's going to your house and you had to drive those miles already, then that's a great order to take in my opinion. However, if it's not and it's leaving you somewhere where you don't want to be and you got to drive those miles back, that's an order we should never be taking. It's not profitable. Now I want to show you this one because this is one that we're going to start seeing more of in my opinion. This Petco order, $35. I believe it was 5 stops, 23 miles. Now, a lot of y'all would say, hey, that's too many miles, too many stops. I'm not doing that. I get it. I accepted that order. I'm going to tell you why. Well, first, I wanted to see, the first reason was I wanted to see what it was like. I hadn't done one of those. Secondly, I looked at it and I knew if you know your market and you say, hey, if I could do that in an hour and where it leaves me is still in my zone and it's still good, to where I really don't have to do much more driving to go back to where I can get something else. If I do that in an hour, that's $35. That's great. It took me, I think, an hour and like 8 minutes to make $35. Most of us would be fine with that. Most of us would be to the moon with $35 an hour. I think that's above the average of most DoorDash drivers. So you can't always just look at the mileage. You got to look at the time. Would you guys have taken that order? All right, here's one I got this week as well, $16. So we talk about cash flow. I like cash flow. As long as that cash flow is going to not take me long to do, sometimes the mileage is irrelevant for me, especially if it's highway. However, I did not take the $16. I love it. I like the 16, but where it's going to leave me is a huge indicator for me. Also, if it's 2 orders for 16, that's different if it's only 1, because you have to maybe go to 2 different places, or if it's the same place, you're still waiting on 2 orders versus 1, and you have 2 drop-offs versus 1. More things can happen, right? But for me, the drop-off location where it leaves me, you have to look at that. I recommend zooming in on those buildings. Is it a big building, an apartment? Is it a house? Is it a difficult drop-off? Is it going to be round trip to where I got to drive the 7 miles like this order was, and then if I got to drive back to my zone because it leaves me in an undesirable place, and if it's in another zone and I can't dash now, or if I don't want to dash in that zone, that's actually 14 miles, not 16 miles. So that's an order that I would usually stay away from, and I recommend you guys as well. So that order's, if the cash flow is good, but it leaves you in a bad spot, the cash flow doesn't become good anymore. So this order here, Burger King, $4, 3 miles. It's over $1 a mile. It's Burger King. So I'm giving you guys this scenario because you have to know in your market, what places are you just gonna always stay away from, even if it's more than $1 a mile. Let's say this was $6 and it's $2 a mile. If it's a merchant that's slow, and Burger King might be slow for you, where you historically go in and the orders aren't ready, the miles to money and the time might fit some criteria, but not all criteria. And when the valuation is so low as to $4, in my opinion, it's not worth risking it, because you could spend 20 minutes maybe from beginning to end, and if you're only making $4, you're not really making good money. So you got to take time into consideration with the order selection of the merchants that the offers are coming in from. So the last order I want to show you is a shop and deliver. I do a lot of shop and delivers, and a lot of you guys will look at the $12 and say, "Ooh, I like 12. Ooh, it's only 2 miles, Pedro." That could be a really good order. The miles to money is fantastic, right? Look at your item counts and look at the store. I like Aldi. I can shop 18 items at Aldi extremely fast, but your market might be different. You might have a BJ's or a Kroger's or a local grocery chain to where that 18 items could be more difficult than an Aldi or another place, right? So always have in your mind, do I know this store? And if that's $12 for 2 miles at 18, that's not bad, pretty good. But if that's 50 items for 12 and 2, completely different. If it's 50, I'm probably declining that. At 18, I'm probably accepting. So when you're looking at your shopping pace, look at those item counts. When you're taking into consideration if this is going to be good for me and how long it's going to take me to complete this order to make that $12. Because at the end of the day, it's all about time. There's only so many hours in a day, and we need to be facilitating as many deliveries as possible in most markets so you can make the most money. We almost lost our light, but listen, I just wanted to make this video on the RideShare Guys' channel talking about orders that I see and why to take them or why not to take them, which ones to stay away from. Not all miles to money is going to be equal, something to take into consideration. Look at your item counts. Look at how long it's going to take you. And don't just look at cash flow and say, "Oh, I like the $16. That's going to be great." How long is that going to take you? That's $16, 7 miles. If you got to come back, that could be an hour or a little bit less. And if you're only making 16, the cash flow is kind of null and void. So you guys let us know in your opinion, which of these orders would you have taken? Do you ever take a 3 for 1 mile like I showed you guys? Is that something that you would do? What is your minimum? Let us know in the comments down below. And as always, make money, be safe when you're out there driving. Happy holidays. And if you want more DoorDash content, got these videos here. Check out the description box to sign up for courses to maximize your income. And I'll see you in 2 weeks.